Hey everybody, this is Young Living Diamond, Sarah Harnish, and this is going to be a pretty fun night tonight. We get to finish up the second half of the blending class. We get to jump in and do a little script book, workbook training tonight, and we get to do a little mini training as well. So, and this is a class that's near and dear to my heart because I really love the blending content because it's giving you some really valuable information on how to grow your organizations by teaching people how to use the oils and get them in their homes. So I like this class a lot because it trains you on how to open up a blending station in your house. So if you're just joining me, this is the second half of this class. We got all the way through the very first beginning part of it yesterday. And we talked a lot about carrier oils, and we talked about blending by note. So there's top notes, middle notes, base notes. And we talked about blending that way, but there's actually more than one way to skin a cat. So blending by note is not the only way that you can mix an oil. So I'm going to jump right in. If you're joining me, this is page 383 in the teacher's edition. And if you're hopping on and you've never seen me teach anything before, and you're not even sure where this stuff is coming from, it's coming from a book called the Game Plan Oil Script Book, where I have put together these classes for you to be able to teach your teams and do some deep core training with them. These classes are timed out to about an hour each. That's about the length of time that I found that when I'm teaching classes, people can sit through. Online, it can be a little shorter than an hour. So if you want to break them up into two parts, if you're doing an online class, we see really high retention rates with that. So let's jump right into the class because we have three things to do tonight and I don't want to keep you guys too late. And as always, at the end of this, I am going to do a bunch of giveaways for you. I want to say hello to Francis Cedillo. Good to see you. And Tom from Port Angeles, Washington. Sweet Deborah Yeager. Good to see you, friend. And Nina Sledge, all the way from Texas. Good to have you guys on. So blending by botany. If you've got a basic understanding of a plant's morphology, you can differentiate between plant families. It would be the same as blending notes, but your categories might be slightly different. So we're talking about how to mix oils professionally. Hello there, Amelia. It's really good to see you. Charmaine as well. So the smells of the types of blends you create would also end up to be slightly different. In the study of taxonomy, plants are grouped into families with identical shared characteristics. The Latin name or the binomial nomenclature of each plant is written using two or more words. So each part of the plant's botanical name will help you distinguish where it comes from. The first Latin word of a plant's name is its genus, and it refers to a group of closely related plants like Lavandula. The second part of the Latin binomial name is species, and it's written in lowercase letters like Lavandula latifolia. So typically people think there's only one lavender plant, but there's actually 39 different species of lavender globally, and lavender is actually a member of the mint family. We're going to play a little game here in a minute, and I'm going to see how many of these you guys can get right. So I won't go into great depth on the classifications of plants because it's a really vast topic, but let me just give you a couple of quick examples. So if you don't know how to say these when you're teaching your class, totally okay. Don't stress about it. Let's see, Ananaceae is the custard apple family, and it's a group of flowering plants, trees, and shrubs that span about 130 genera. The Ananaceae family's only species in aromatherapy and Young Living is ylang-ylang. And then Astraceae, this plant family has 32,000 species, 1,900 genera, and 13 subfamilies. And so some examples in Young Living are Roman and German chamomile in our arsenal. A simple approach to blend in this way would be to stay in tune with nature and oils from the same genus or family. And you might combine different types of lemon, like lemon verbena or lemon myrtle or jade lemon, or you might use different varieties of eucalyptus. We did this in the blend RC, right? Gary did this with Eucalyptus globulus, Eucalyptus radiata, Eucalyptus blue Gary discovered. That was done in Ecuador. So that's pretty cool. And then he also added 2 more tree oils to that blend with cypress and spruce. So once you get to know the plant world, you can also combine oils of the same species, but different parts of the plant. So I'm going to blow your mind with this one. Neroli, orange, and petitgrain are all part of the orange tree. All 3 of them are. So neroli is the oil that we get from the blossom of the orange tree. Orange is the oil we get from the fruit of the rind of the orange tree, and petitgrain comes from the leaf of the orange tree. So isn't that crazy? You can distill different parts. Petitgrain doesn't smell anything like orange, and neroli is really, really strong. That's the blossom and smells totally different from orange, but they all come from the same tree. So each of them have their own different fragrance. Where do they get the oil, from the lavender plant or flower, from the flower, the stem, or both? I have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's from the flowers, but I can go look it up for you. So once you get to know the plant world, you combine oils from the same species, like neroli and orange and petitgrain. So other sister plants in Young Living. Frankincense and myrrh are sister plants. Juniper, cypress, and cedarwood are all sister plants. Basil, clary sage, hyssop, lavender, and melissa. Lavender and melissa are sister plants. Marjoram is a sister to hyssop and clary sage and basil. Oregano, patchouli, peppermint, rosemary, sage, mountain savory, and spearmint are all part of the same family. Citronella, lemongrass, palmarosa, and vetiver are part of the same family. I bet you wouldn't have put citronella and vetiver in the same family, right? Laurus nobilius, that oil is more powerful than thieves. If you haven't tried it, go try it. Cassia, cinnamon, and ravensara. Ravensara and cinnamon are part of the same family. Cedarwood, balsam fir, northern lights, black spruce, white light pine, and hinoki are all part of the same family. Bergamot, orange, grapefruit, neroli, and petitgrain, same family. Tarragon, parsley, angelica, carrot, celery, cumin, dill, and fennel, all part of the same family. And cardamom and turmeric and ginger, part of the same family. And Nina says bay leaves. I know, it's like mind blown, right? So you get the idea. I mean, many of these oils you probably had grouped together already. If we're talking different citruses, you could simply try mixing the citrus oils together and the spruce and the firs together and the herbs together. You could put Laurus nobilius, stronger than thieves. Mountain savory, stronger than thieves also. So you could put 1 to 3 drops of each oil in the blending bottle and then count the number of drops that you are adding in, and then add the appropriate amount of carrier oil of your choice based on the ratios from the chart that I gave you, and voila, you have just blended by botany. Crazy, huh? Blending by botany. So now you guys are all going to go and get a little bottle, and you're going to put neroli and orange and petitgrain in there, and you're gonna be like, I got all the parts of the orange tree right here. Cynthia says, hello from Malaysia. Thank you so much from the script books. Oh, Cynthia, friend, it's so good to see you. I love seeing my friends from Malaysia. So blending by chemistry. Now, the next blending style is a little bit of a kick in the face, and I'll cover it quickly. So if you want a fantastic read, you can go check out Dr. David Stewart's Chemistry of Essential Oils. It might be a multi-month read for you. I had to take a class to learn how to read that book, but it's a great read just the same. So in the book, Dr. Stewart covers aroma chemistry in a much deeper context than I do. And he was just a master chemist, just like Gary Young. So we'll hit on the basics so you can understand. But for the purposes of blending, if you have a good book like David Stewart's beside you, even an amateur aromatherapist can learn how to blend without the use of a lab. So I would also recommend the Care School for Raindrop Therapy, which offers an entire class in the chemistry of essential oils that is just phenomenal. So here's the long and short of it. We're talking about chemistry now. So we talked about blending by note. We talked about blending by botany. Now we're talking about blending by chemistry. And this is the hard part of the class, but I promise I'll be through it in like 2 to 3 minutes. All right. But just hold on to your seat for a minute. We're going to do a little brain work and then I'll release you guys. So here's the long and short of it. Essential oils contain a complex amalgamation of natural compounds that determine their fragrance and their properties. Oils contain compounds made up of oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen that work together in the human body. The average oil contains 100 to 300 components and thousands of other trace compounds. Nature far exceeds the laboratory, and we've spent a lot of time trying to tear these apart in labs. Understanding chemistry can help you assess the suitability for treating a specific condition. So this is something that Gary Young was just a true master of. This is how we get blends like Panaway, Raven, Mister, Stress Away, and so much more. Each of these oils has constituents with qualities that he wanted to focus on. 3 constituents that you hear a lot about are monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, and phenols. So let's just break those apart. Like what exactly are those and why do you hear about them all the time? Monoterpenes, you're going to look for constituents like pinene. These are composed of 10 carbon atoms and 2 isoprene units. Its most valuable capability is to reprogram miswritten information in cellular memory back to the original design with the correct information based on healthy cells. High monoterpene oils are angelica, pine, cypress, hyssop, juniper, frankincense, cistus, and most citrus oils. Sesquiterpenes. So these molecules have 15 carbon atoms and 3 isoprene units, and they stimulate the pineal and pituitary glands. So if you have a deficiency in pineal or pituitary, you might want to pick high sesquiterpene oils and put them on those glands. These are the reset compounds. So their main job is to purge or erase incorrect information in cellular memory. And then you got the phenols. So you're going to look for constituents like thymol is a really high phenol oil. Now, these are so powerful that they can only be used in a very low concentration, and they cleanse those receptor cell sites on the cell walls, and they are highly antiseptic. They can stimulate the immune system. I like to say that they wipe the cell door clean so the cells can receive information. Thyme and oregano are really high phenol oils. Other constituents, alcohols, esters, aldehydes, ketones, oxides. You got to understand the chemistry of the oils in order to blend this way. The individual chemistry will determine how much of an oil that you put in. Now, the tricky part is that although there are hundreds of recognized chemicals in a drop of oil, there are hundreds more trace compounds that scientists have yet to discover. This means that you don't always know what you're putting in. It's not an exact science. Here's the best tip that I can give you. If you got a great encyclopedia reference guide like Dr. Stewart's to identify the compounds in each oil, a blend made in this way would have 5 to 15% sesquiterpenes, 20 to 40% monoterpenes, and 50 to 60% phenols or ketones. So we're going to stop there in chemistry. I'm not going to go any deeper, but if you were to blend by chemistry, which is how Gary blended, it would be 5 to 15% sesquiterpenes, 20 to 40% monoterpenes, and 50 to 60% ketones. So the fourth way of blending oils is blending by effect. You're like, Sarah, how come there's so many different ways to do this? This is crazy. And then I'm going to teach you on to blend or not to blend. And then we're going to walk through step by step exactly how to set up your little blending station. Yes, this information is all in my book. It is in class 123. So if you're not familiar with the script book, this is what it looks like. It's up on Amazon. It's up on my website. It's discounted on my website in bulk. So if you want your team reading this book, there's 25 different classes in here. And this is class 23. So next week, we're going to do the einkorn class on Tuesday, and I'm going to make a bunch of einkorn stuff for you guys and show it to you. So you guys get to see all the different things. I just posted an einkorn recipe this week with my blueberry muffins. That's in the book. And then the week after that, we're going to end the script book boot camp with the Gary Young class, which will be right before Thanksgiving. It's going to be amazing. For sure going to read and study this chapter. You're a great teacher. Thank you, friend. That means a lot. All right, so we're going to go into blending by effect. Virginia says, I got my book out and I'm following along. I know this is some pretty intense stuff, guys, but it's really going to help you when you're learning how to make your roll-ons, because you're going to think differently about the proportions of what you're putting in the roller. I mean, now you just learned something new tonight about how to make a correct orange roll-on, right? You're going to use all the parts of the orange tree in it, and you're blending by species when you do that. And you can take any of the other little groups that I gave you and mix those oils together, and you're going to be blending by species for those also. So it's pretty cool. But now I'm going to teach you blending by effect. Mary says the book is wonderful. Thank you. That means a lot. I've had a lot of people ask me if I could take this book and do an abridged version where all 25 classes are in 20 minutes or less. And then make corresponding PowerPoints just so that really tight classes. And I'm thinking about doing that. I'm thinking about it. Martin says I need to get my hands on that book. If that's something you guys would be interested in having really tight versions of these that you could teach online in 20 minutes, that just kind of give the highlights of the class, tell me right now if it's a project that I should put myself into or not. Tomorrow I'm starting the audiobook for this. And then I'm going to revamp Game Plan and get it updated with a new website. And then I'm thinking about doing an abridged version of the script book for you guys. Then it's time for the second script book, which I've already started doing the research for. And I'm working on a frequency class and a candida class right now. So Karen says, yeah, sorry. Jordan says, yes, short classes. Awesome. I tend to want to give you everything. And I know what my team will sit through. They will sit through 60 minutes. So if that's something, Kristen says, yes, for sure. Yeah, having an abridged version. The thing is if you don't teach us like this, I won't read it. Virginia says 20-minute versions would be wonderful. All right. Shorter versions would be awesome, says Sheila. Okay. This is really good feedback. Really good feedback. All right. So blending by effect. Peggy says, I love the shorter version for those who can't sit that long. Yep, absolutely. So blending by effect, just smelling the fragrance of rose can elevate your mood. And even when the scent is too faint for the mind to notice that healing is taking place. The nose, which is wired differently from the other four senses, and there's a great write-up on the oils of the Bible class, carries molecules to the emotional center of the brain where memories are stored. There are 800 million nerve endings in the nose that can detect smells. When breathing in the fragrance of an essential oil, keep in mind that it oozes from the plant, just like blood oozes from our skin when we're cut. Fragrance is one of man's greatest enjoyments, bringing back memories of past experiences and creating a feeling of security, grounding, and well-being, says Dr. Joseph Ledoux. I've already read the book and following the book. Thank you, Sarah. Yep, Janet says it'd be nice for quick, short classes. Good. This is really, really good feedback. So fragrance is one of man's greatest enjoyments, bringing back memories of past experiences and creating, except for those of us that are green. Tracy, that's why I give you the full versions too. You can go through and highlight it all and have good solid notes. I don't have green in me, but I got a lot of red. So we love taking notes on stuff also. I totally get it. And so Dr. Joseph Ledoux from New York Medical University says this could be a major breakthrough in releasing emotional trauma. So he's a guy that works for New York's Medical University, and he says that if you could get this in tune with this, that you could be, it could be a breakthrough in releasing emotional trauma. We already know that, right? Because we're already Oilers. So scientific research has revealed that there are certain chemical constituents in essential oils that make some more stimulating, like peppermint. I'm trying to get the Audible done for you guys before Christmas so that you can gift that to each other as Christmas gifts. So if you really, really like the script book, I'm busting my tush, and we're going to be opening the game planner sales, the pre-sales on Tuesday. So if you're a huge game planner fan, we are going to bring it back this year. I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, but we got a lot of people that were very interested in it. So I am going to print a small amount of the planners. So if you want them, you need to grab them early, because when we sell out, we won't reprint them, but we'll open that up on Tuesday. And then I'm starting the audiobook tomorrow to get that recorded. My goal is to get it uploaded for you guys so you can order it for Christmas. All right. All right, so scientific research has revealed there's certain chemical constituents in essential oils that make some more stimulating, like peppermint, and others more soothing, like orange and camphor wood, that are found in Valor. If you're blending by effect, you need to know a bit about the chemical makeup of an oil to know whether it is stimulating or soothing. The game plan book, the original book, is in stock right now, so you can get that on Amazon. You can get that on my website. It is not out of stock. I think the only thing out of stock on my website is Ignite. Right now, we're in the process of updating them all, so you should be able to. Sheila says, I'm visually impaired, so Audible's gonna be awesome. Well, that's Audible is where I love being, because I am a radio network news anchor. So I get a lot of joy out of doing the audio work on it, because that's what I've done for 23 years. So I'm pretty stoked. And I'll send you guys pictures as I'm getting all of this recorded. I'll be like, all right, 1 class down, 24 to go, 2 classes down, 23 to go. I'm actually thinking about recording the workbook also, because there's so much good content in there with all the bonus trainings and the DIYs and all of that. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. All right, so back into the blending by effect. This is how to make blends in roll-ons. And we talked 3 different ways. The 4th way is blending by effect. I'm just giving you some information. Dr. Joseph Ledoux says that it is a major breakthrough in releasing emotional trauma. Oils are. So scientific research has revealed there are certain chemical constituents in essential oils that make them more stimulating, like peppermint, and others more soothing, like orange or camphor wood. Camphor wood is also called whole wood oil, and that's found in Valor. That's what we replaced rosewood with a couple of years ago. If you are blending by effect, you need to know a bit about the chemical makeup of an oil to know whether it is stimulating or soothing. So stimulating constituents include acids, alcohols, phenols, phenylpropanoids, and terpenes. Soothing constituents include alcohols, aldehydes. Yes, I had alcohols on both lists, coumarins, esters, ethers, and hydrocarbons. So when you make a blend for another person, consider their personality type. Type A personalities tend to be prone to headaches, digestive problems, sleep disorders, and anxiety. So you're really loud, wound up personalities. You want to make blends that fall more into the soothing range for them. Type B personalities are more prone to depression. They have low energy. They have circulation issues. So for them, you're going to want to make more blends from the stimulating category. Gosh, you guys are giving me all the love tonight. Thank you. Thanks for all your kind words. So stimulating essential oils based on constituents. You're going to mix these up and I would still check the blending chart that I gave you for middle notes, top notes, and base notes. But if you're going to do a stimulating roller for a type B personality, this is the list you would pick from. So basil, celery, citronella, coriander, eucalyptus, fennel, grapefruit, lemon, lime, orange, citrus fresh, and it goes on for another 30 oils. Then soothing essential oils based on constituents. You've got bergamot, clary sage, lemongrass, fir, geranium, cedarwood, cistus, frankincense, petitgrain, spearmint, tangerine, tea tree, neroli, thyme, melissa, sandalwood, tarragon, valerian, vanilla, vetiver, and ylang-ylang. So to blend these, you're going to go to that chart I showed you in class 1 of top, middle, and base notes and look each one up. Kay says, when you mix the morphine bomb, is there a proper order for the 3 oils? I would look up the recipe for that and then look on the chart that I printed in this book for top, middle, and base notes and drop the base in first, then the middle note, and then the top note. Sheila says, I love the personality types for oil. Amazing. Brenda, you're amazing too. Goodness, guys. You're pretty awesome tonight. So combine these. If you're going to do blending, you're going to go to your chart of top, middle, and base notes. It's right in the middle of this class. So just open your script book, go grab that chart, and you're going to look each one up. And then you would combine them as if you were blending by note, but you're going to stick with the stimulating or soothing categories to match the personality type of the person that you're loving on with this blend. All right, now I'm just going to answer a quick little FAQs and give you some DIYs, and then we're going to jump right into the mini and then give you highlights of the workbook and wrap up tonight with some giveaways. So as a general rule, I don't mix blends. I don't blend blends, and I get asked why all the time. They're already perfectly blended by chemistry. Gary is amazing in how he put his oils together. So I'm not going to mess what he has already put together. But when you throw other oils in the mix, even if they're single oils, it's going to throw it all off. You can see from the study of this class how crazy it gets in the bottle. One of my favorite sentences in this class is the very first couple sentences in it. And it talks about how many combinations you can have just from a couple of oils. Like, I mean, it's in the billions categories. So it's like the craziest puzzle you've ever seen in your life. Every single constituent responds to every other constituent. There are living drops of plants in these bottles. So I would say stick to single oils because they're much more predictable when you're trying to make a blend. To blend or not to blend. So I love this famous quote from Dr. David Stewart. He says, which is best, to apply oil sequentially, one at a time in layers, or to mix and apply them all at once as blends? I could answer this with a question. What do you want? Melodies, scales, or arpeggios, or intervals, harmonies, and chords? Essential oils, like I said before, are like notes played on an instrument. When a specific pitch or frequency is sounded by an instrument or voice, there's a whole spectrum of frequencies produced. The essential oil frequencies come from the bonds between the elements, compromising the molecules of their compounds. These bonds of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen act like strings of different pitches, just like a harp. So when musical notes are played in sequence, one right after another, we get melodies and scales. When we anoint with different single oils, one at a time in layers, we're playing tunes. When we play 2 different musical notes together, it's called an interval. When we play more than 2 at the same time, it's called a chord. How the oils are applied determines the form of music that you create. The short answer to Dr. Stewart's question from before, but which is the best, applying oils in layers in a sequence or applying a blend, is that neither is best. They're both just different. So both ways can be best in the appropriate circumstance. Isn't he amazing? I just absolutely love any quote from David Stewart. So go ahead and make your blends. Many people have asked me, why have a blending class if Young Living already has like 80 blends? I would say, why not? There's a million more blends that Gary never had time to create. I know we look at like all the ones in the VO and we're thinking, oh yeah, the blends are harmony, just like this month, harmony, gratitude, grounding, like forgiveness. Those are all Gary's really famous blends. But you know, he made a lot of pretty famous blends right before he passed away. Like he designed all of the oils in bloom. He designed the whole seedlings line like within a year after he passed away. He designed all of the blends that are used in the CBD. Those were all his work. He designed the entire Kid Sense line. Kid Power was one of his masterpieces in the last year before he passed away. So I love his stuff. We think, oh, Gary hasn't made blends for a while. And I'm like, oh, yes, he has. I mean, now not anymore, but he did, back in 2017, 2018, he made quite a few. And one of my favorite oils is Kid Power. I call it Kid Valor because it's got so much valor in it. And I just love the smell of it. So go ahead and go make your blends. All right. There's millions of blends that Gary never even had time to create. He once said, I can't go to sleep yet, for there is so much more yet to do. So you go finish his work in your living room, masterfully creating your own mixes because you now have the tools to do it. So you know how to blend by note. You know how to blend by botany. You know how to blend by constituent. You know how to blend by personality. All right, there's so many different ways. I know Kid Valor, I just make stuff up when I'm live all the time. So, all right, how to make a blend step by step. Let's just walk you through. And I will tell you in your script book, I'm just going to open this bad boy up right now. We did the Manly Man class, techniques class, how to make your own blends. In this class, in the middle of it, there is an entire blending chart. So whether you have the book or whether you have the teacher's edition, you have access to this chart, and we're going to be putting it up online for you guys too. So you can print it in full color, you can laminate it. My stuff is your stuff. I want you guys to be able to have access to the stuff and for it to be free for you, that you don't have to break the bank trying to recreate the wheel, but you can make it yours. So let's talk about how to make a blend. Then I'll give you a couple little DIYs, do some giveaways, and then I'm just going to do a highlights of the mini and the workbook tonight. We're not going to do the whole full thing. I'm just going to kind of go through really quickly in a few minutes because I don't want to keep you on too long tonight. So how to make a blend step by step. Number one, you're going to determine which oils to use. So decide which way you want to blend, by note, by botany, by chemistry, or by effect. Get out your chart, gather up your oils, get your bottle, get your carrier oil. Number two, you're going to test and choose your measuring method. So if you're trying out a new oil, you can put a drop on a tissue or paper towel to inhale the fragrance first. It's better than just breathing out of the bottle. Remember, if you breathe out of the bottle, you're just going to get the top note right away. So you'd have to breathe it for a while to get all three, top, middle, and base notes. So drop it onto a tissue and smell it off of that instead. So this step is simply to make sure that it's what you had in mind for the blend. If not, choose another oil and try again and have a new clean bottle ready. How many of you guys just sniff it out of the bottle and never smell it correctly? Right? Never smell it correctly. You got to get all those notes in there, or you're not getting the true oil. So have a new clean bottle ready. You can either use a pipette or you can just keep the orifice on the essential oil bottle. Drop the oil into your roll-on bottle. I prefer just keeping the orifice in place because a pipette can cross-contaminate very expensive oil. Melissa is like $200 a bottle. You don't want to stick a pipette in there, so I just drop it out of the orifice. Step number three, add oil. So you're going to start by adding your base notes first, then add your middle notes, and then drop in your top notes, and then top it off with a carrier. One drop too many can completely alter the results. So make sure you're using your reference chart so you know how many base, how many middle, how many top notes. Number four, let the blend sit. So it takes about 24 hours for all the constituents to meld together. You can sniff at it right away, but it might smell completely different 24 hours later. So then when you roll it on your skin, it might smell different all over again because the constituents are responding to your body. So try it all three ways. You might choose to make it differently if the end result isn't what you're going for. So a few more tips. Have coffee grounds on hand to sniff between fragrances. That'll help clear your palate if you want, unless you hate coffee, then don't do that. Then never mix essential oils with plastic utensils. It'd be better to use glass or metal. Number three, keep a notebook close by so you can write down what you've done. I can't tell you how many times I've done a blend and I'm like, oh man, this smells so good. And then I didn't write it down, so I can't recreate it. Number four, if you can't get thick oil out of the bottle, just warm it in your hands or place it in a warm water bath for a couple of minutes under 105 degrees. So can I add more than 3 single oils? The quick answer is yes. You're not really limited. Just keep in mind the 3-2-1 method. So 3 top notes, 2 middle notes, 1 base note. Try to adhere to these ratios as best as you can, but nothing substitutes good intuition. You might go add an extra drop on a base note like frankincense if the blend becomes richer, too rich, with your nose. So let's play with bases. You can do a lot more with this class than just make roll-ons. You've now learned how to blend like an aromatherapist, right? So take the principles of mixing by note and apply it to some different bases like compresses and bath salts. So the 3-2-1 method, right? 3 top notes, 2 middle notes, and 1 base note. Geez, I need to rewatch this. So much information. I know, right? Set up your little blending station, get your carrier, divide your oils into top notes, middle notes, base notes. Remember 3-2-1. All right, and your base note goes in first, get your carrier close and put your blending chart, and you now have an entire blending station where you can make all sorts of things. So we spent the whole class on making roll-ons, but what if you have some other recipes also? I mean, you can put blends that you make in just about anything, right? So what about a basic hand lotion recipe? If you do a half an ounce of unscented almond oil or Genesis hand and body lotion, 3 drops of a top note, 2 drops of a middle note, 1 drop of a base note, and then a jar container. So it's hand lotion just by using the almond oil and the essential oils in it, or Genesis hand and body lotion, which I love. The basic joint compress recipe. Bridget says it's so amazing how Gary figured all of this out for us. It's so amazing. It's true. Bridget, I'm going to give you 10 minis, girl. I don't think I've given anything away to you. And so just go ahead and email me at oilabilitywithsarah@gmail.com and we'll get that mailed out to you. I love edifying Gary Young. That like makes my day. He was literally a genius aromatherapist. I asked myself, could I make a blend like Stress Away, or could I make a blend like Valor? And then we step back and like, shoot, Gary didn't just do that. He did 80 more of them just like that. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah. Sue says, how about a blending party? Wouldn't that be fun to do in December with your teams? A blending party, get this class out, teach it in an hour, set up blending stations, give them all the chart for free for coming to the class and, make some blends. So what about a basic joint compress blend recipe? This one, you do a half a cup of water, then 12 drops of a top note, 8 drops of a middle note, 4 drops of a base note, and then a very, very small bowl in a jar or container. So you're going to combine your oils first, then add a carrier, and then add it to the jar. So a bath salts recipe, you got 2 cups Epsom salt, 1 cup sea salt. I like Himalayan or Celtic, 1 cup of baking soda, and then 30 drops of a top note, 20 drops of middle note, and 10 drops of a base note, because that salt just sucks it in. A salve ointment recipe, you got olive oil, beeswax, cocoa butter, shea butter, then your top, middle, and base notes, small jar tin, and a pot of water in a metal bowl to set up a double boiler. And then your foot scrub recipe, we do oatmeal, cornmeal, and Himalayan sea salt. That mixed together is super good. And then 1 teaspoon of Genesis hand and body lotion just kind of helps it all stick together. Then you do 6 drops of a top note, 4 drops of a middle note, 2 drops of a base note, and just a little bit of spring water. And you combine all the dry ingredients, right? So you have had an incredibly powerful blending class in one sitting. So let me just end with a thought that might encourage you as you start out in a whole new hobby. Trust your intuition. Dr. David Stewart had some amazing words on blending. He says, while the discussion on blending is stimulating to the left brain, it may not be practical or helpful when making a decision on which oils to use for a person. So when it comes to anointing, our left brains are usually not as useful as our right brains and can even get in the way. In the end, there's no substitute for an intuitive right brain, prayerful approach to using oils. By laying on your hands in faith with an attitude of humility, in the conviction that God is your ever-present guide, you always know which oils to use. God's power can come to us when the left brain is temporarily suspended and stands not in the way of his energy. End quote. So in other words, pray and trust that still small voice inside of you when you're trying to pick what you need to use. You don't have to be an expert because God already did that part for us. Each person has their own unique chemical makeup, and that's why some blends work for some people, but then they don't work for others. But just keep blending because you will find what they need. You've got the tools to impact people in a positive way. So use your tools, use your gut, pray, and oil on. And that is the end of the blending class. Now, I always give you a little apply it section. And in this apply it section, isn't the class exciting? It's pretty cool. I thought for years that I'd never be able to make a blend unless I could read a GCMS report and understand chemistry. Now, it might not be as exact as the chemistry used in the lab, but I've made some pretty incredible blends using these charts. So happy playing. So some loyalty rewards orders at 190 PV. I just give you a bunch of single oils that I would recommend stocking first. 250 PV. Add a carrier, Genesis hand and body lotion, some more oils. And then a Gary tip. Did you know that by adding 1 drop of an herb, it will significantly strengthen the blend overall? And don't worry, because you can hide the scent. Also, even though there are no reward points attached to DIY kit, I highly recommend getting the DIY kit for the sake of playing and blending. So you can hop on and grab that for one of your loyalty rewards orders. And then a 300 PV, get some carriers, get some rose ointment, get some animal scents ointment. And then I give you a list of oils ideas that's pretty long, everything from cassia and clove to jasmine, dill, celery seed, and rose. And then action steps. So get some carrier oil, get some roll-on bottles, and get started. Then remember the 3-2-1 method: 3 top note, 2 middle note, 1 base note. And then get uber creative and pick one of the recipes at the end of the class to play with on a deeper level. Maybe you make a salve recipe or a joint compress recipe, because these recipes truly are amazing. All right, now I'm going to hop into the mini here for just a couple of minutes. The mini is great because it gives your people just a nice little teaser of all the things from the class, but in a page or two. It's just really, really compressed. So 123, remembering the class, I'll just give you a couple of these. There's 4 sections in the mini. There's a thing that gives you the highlights of the class, little heart message, and then what to order on an action step. So super easy to use. So here's a couple things to remember. What are oils distilled from? Twigs, grasses, fruit, leaves, flowers, bark, needles, roots, seeds, resin, flowering tops, fruit rinds, gum resins, and branches. Sometimes, like in the case of juniper, the entire tree is tossed into the wood chipper at the Mona farm. Fact number 2, if you have only 4 oils with 800 constituents each, your blend could have a possible mixture of 409 billion different combinations. It would be the equivalent of the largest puzzle ever made. Isn't that cool? And then another quick tip. Top notes are the first scent that you smell after you open the bottle. They evaporate quickly, but give you the first impression you'll have of an oil. Many of these are distilled from aldehydes and esters, which come from fruit, flowers, and leaves. Middle notes are known to play on emotions. They're calming and releasing, and it's usually the middle notes that cover up any unpleasant smell of the base notes. The base notes are the backbone and they're the foundation of the blend. It's the smell of an oil that the users will remember because it sticks with them. It takes about 30 seconds to smell the base note of an essential oil. So how many drops of oil do you want in a 10 ml roller? 1 to 5 drops of top note, 1 to 3 drops of middle note, and 1 to 2 drops of base note. And a roll-on will go rancid in 12 weeks to 6 months because of the carrier oil, unless it's fractionated coconut oil. Oh, Tracy says, I really need to order the new books. Oh, friend, I love you. So what's the heart message? First off, you don't need to be the expert because God already did that part of it for us when he made the plants, and Young Living did the extra step for us when they distilled the plants, right? So do you need to blend your own oils? Well, no, but is it fun? Yes. And Young Living has done a wonderful job creating blends for us. So Valor, my personal favorite of all time, is a blend. My second favorite is Kid Power, followed by Present Time, Genius, Stress Away, Forgiveness, and Highest Potential. This class is just a hoot. It's just to get you into the dirt, get you playing, get you learning some new skills. I'm reading out of the mini right now. You're going to get satisfaction as people start calling you their oils person, and they come to you for blends for all their encounters. So do it. Make them even if they're not perfect. Make them if you're not Gary Young, because that's how we bring oils to every home in the world, is by helping people. And you can do it without a chemistry background because your hands are rooted in instinct and they're rooted in love. They're rooted in both of them. So what to order? And I just gave you a couple of suggestions. Top notes, Angelica, lemon, Melissa, hyssop. Middle notes, Idaho Grand Fir, nutmeg, tansy, blue tansy, elemi, cardamom. Base notes, cistus, one of my favorite base notes of all time. Rose, vetiver, copaiba, helichrysum, sandalwood, cedarwood, jasmine. Action step, set up a blending station at your house. So use a small table, have a small bin for your roller bottles, have a place for your carrier, find a tiny oils rack and divide the oils on each shelf by top, middle, and base notes. Take the cheat sheet from the script book, laminate it, put it on your table, and go. That means we only have 2 pages left in this book, and we are totally done with the entire mini this year. We've been working on this book since May. We've gone through 23 of 25 classes. I use this thing like a passport. So when people come to my classes, I can check off what they've come to. And if they come to 2 classes, they get like a little bag with a glass bottle in it for their thieves cleaner. And if they come to 3 classes, they get a little sample of CBD or some Super B. And if they come to 4 classes, maybe I'll give them a vitality oil or some toothpaste or some of our lip balm. I love using these as a tool, and it is working on our team. When we're using these as passports, we are seeing people. We had 72% of our team a year ago would only come to 1 class, and we have knocked that down under 30% now on our team. So people who are coming to 1 class are coming to 2, 3, 4, 5 classes now because they want to get all the classes checked off in their passport. So use this as a really, really good tool, not just for following up, but also drawing people into classes. Okay, last thing that we're going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're just going to take a little field trip, a flyover, I'll call it, through the workbook. So if you haven't had a chance to check this thing out, man, ask for it for Christmas if you don't have one yet, because it makes the book come alive. It gives you so many action steps and tips. And if there's a class you really like, it's going to help you pull that class apart sentence by sentence, not just with coloring pages of the plants that are in that class, but so many more things. So this is the class I always wish someone had written for me when I first started my business, because I wanted to play. And as I dug into blending for this book, I began to understand why people haven't written it yet. It's because it's hard content, and making sense of it is like following divisive election coverage and rioting during a pandemic while you have COVID. Oh, wait, we did that in 2020. No, truly though, it's really tough. I mean, I read more than 30 books on blending to try to make sense of it. I think that most people believe that you can only blend by constituent, and that you have to have a GCMS machine and you have to have a chemistry degree to create magnificent blends, but it's simply not true. You just have to understand the oils you're working with and how they fit into the orchestra of smells. So if you can do that with some base knowledge and a simple chart, you can make some knockout blends. I did include a couple of other methods to blend just for those that want to branch out and do a little more study, but the chart will be sufficient for most, and I even have ratios on it for you. So I pray that you love this class as much as I do. I believe it just might be my favorite in the book. Okay, who am I kidding? Because I say that for all of them. So key points for the class, there's 10 points going through the workbook. Do some math with me for a moment. If you have only 4 oils with 800 constituents each, you guys know this because I just gave you the answer, but somebody tell me, you can have a possible mixture rate of blank combinations. So don't pick at your mini, but somebody tell me and I'll pick a winner from the person who guessed correctly. It would be the equivalent of the largest puzzle ever made, right? So what are top, middle, and base notes? What do they smell like? How many drops do you want for a 10 ml bottle? Look at the chart. Are there any surprises for you on it, like hyssop or thyme is a top note? We think of citruses as top notes, but thyme is a top note, right? Crazy. So you're just going to fill in the blank. Mineral oil and petroleum jelly are both derived from. What would be an example of a botany blend? Name one set of sister plants that Young Living carries. For blending by effect, name some soothing oils, write out step by step how to make a blend. So now here's some action steps. And I really want you guys, if you're teaching this class on your page, break out a couple of these action steps and get people doing some of the things that you're talking about. So action steps to become an oiling pro. Right now, Young Living has blank single oils and blank blends for a total of blank oils altogether. It's about 300 oils. And, you come up with a combination of how many we've got. So if each bottle of oil has 200 to 800 constituents, approximately how many constituents are in every Young Living oil for all time? This is just fun for my math geeks. You can just multiply it out. So I want you to set up a blending table. And if an oil fits in 2 categories, middle, top, and base, you're just gonna have to get it twice and have it on both shelves. So make sure you got carrier, roll-ons, and that blending sheet ready to go. So make a blend with only top notes. What'd you put in it? Write it down. Make a blend with only middle notes. Make a blend with only base notes. Make sure you write it down. Make a blend with the right ratios of all 3 and smell them. Then you can smell the difference between just top notes, just middle notes, and just base notes, and how they linger and how they work together synergistically. Then collect carrier oils. How many carrier oils do you have in your arsenal? Write them down. Do you have rose hip oil? You have sweet almond oil? What's your favorite carrier oil to work with so far, and why? Have you noticed any responses to carrier oils, good or bad? Or do you have any that you just love? So note your experiences. Make a blend by botany. What did you put in the blend? Make a blend by chemistry. What did you put in the blend? Make a blend by effect. I do this a lot just by mixing oils. So if I want something specific from one of the reference guides, of all of the techniques you can use, this one contains the least amount of science, just blending by effect. Create a stimulating blend. Create a soothing blend. What did you put in it? Blend a blend. Go ahead, just because you're a rebel and you know it. So which blends did you mix? Do you like it? Yes, no, this stunk. Write down your blend of blends here. And then try some of these tips when you're blending. So you talked about coffee grounds, oils and plastic, don't do it. Keep a notebook close, write down what you've done. So if you can't get a thick oil out of a bottle, warm it in your hands first. Make the basic hand lotion recipe. I like tangerine as my top note, white fir is my middle note, and sandalwood is my base note. I've also used Cistus as my base before. It's really nice. So make the joint compress recipe, and I tell you what I like to put in mine. Make the bath salts recipe, make the basic salve ointment recipe, and make the basic foot scrub recipe. So I've got you making everything in there, everything. So here's some diffuser recipes. When my leaders rank up, I always send them a goodie box. My stars get my book Ignite, and they get a roll-on. My senior stars get Game Plan and a roll-on. My executives get Unstuck and a roll-on. And then I have special mixed boxes that I do for gold, silvers, and platinums. And I thought it might be kind of fun to give you the business blends that I put together for my roll-ons by rank, but for the diffusers. So star is Find Your Why, 7 drops of lime, 7 drops of valor, 7 drops of orange, 2 drops of black pepper, and a drop of frankincense. Senior star is Gold Crusher, and I'm going to do 3 drops of Idaho Grand Fir, 3 drops of cypress, 2 drops of rosemary, and 1 drop of abundance. Executive is the multiplier, so 4 drops of highest potential, 4 drops of tangerine, 2 drops of myrrh, and 1 drop of copaiba. Silver, I call this one The Game Has Changed. 10 drops of valor, 3 drops of magnify your purpose, and 2 drops of sandalwood. Gold is the warrior, platinum is the gift of hustle, and diamond is royalty. And so those are the blends that I make for each of those ranks. Then I give you some loyalty rewards ideas for months 1, 2, and 3. Clary Sage, Cistus, Angelica, Grand Fir. I'm getting you to stock a little top, a little middle, and a little base notes. Then we just have a checklist of the products that are mentioned in the class. And there's a lot of them because we're mixing. Now, here's the bonus training that's not included in the script book. I'm going to stop my share real quick and just look you guys in the eye while I'm reading this, because I want to make sure I'm answering your questions and all of that. I love the rank up recipes. Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that one a little bit. So here's some bonus training that's not included in the script book. So in this chapter, I hit on one of the hardest topics in the script book, which is aroma chemistry. This is a really good place to speak into if you're feeling discouraged, like you can never learn what you need to know to use the oils effectively. Gary actually spoke directly to this topic. He said, everything that you need to succeed is right within your cell structure. God already placed it in there: intuition, drive, focus, tools. Then simply think the thought, I can win this race. Identify what the race is. I am running the race to become the next silver. I am running the race to become the next gold or platinum or diamond or crown diamond. I am running the race and I want to win. So rub the oil blends Believe in highest potential on your temples. Cup your hands over your nose and breathe it in. Rub this on your locus coeruleus, that's on your brainstem, which is your switchboard operator. And then breathe it in and say the statements, I will win, I am winning, I have won. Just change your verb tense on it. Then take yourself from the future back to the present time. If you don't write your statements and state them in the present time, they've got no effect on you because you're not living yesterday and you're not living tomorrow. You're living 60 seconds from now. You're only living right now, right? So once this information is delivered, oh, Jerry Pylon, you got to write. Pat Manglis, you got it right too. All right, Pat, I'm going to send you 10 minis, and Jerry, I'm going to send you 10 minis also. So you too, go ahead and write me at oilabilitywithsarah@gmail.com. So once the information is delivered, a chain reaction takes place, creating many biochemical events in the cell by directing a number of activities. It's really exciting when you think about it because you've just programmed a very powerful thought toward your success. After you programmed it, you've eroded the frequency of the spoken word and you've encoded the frequency of the oil. Say the words, I live in total abundance, and then put abundance on your temples and your crown and your locus coeruleus and your sternum and your feet or your upper lip. It doesn't matter where you put it. Just say, I live in total abundance now. So my thoughts, I mean, this might seem like kind of a weird exercise, but here's the reality. 98% of us live in some form of poverty. And I really don't believe the Lord would have us stay there, because when we're in that place, we're too poor to give to others. I truly don't believe that abundance is just going to fall in your lap. It's got to be worked for, and that's biblical. But it's also a biblical statement that the words of your mouth are mission critical to get the job done. So let me share my life verse here, because I don't believe in speaking death over yourself. Psalm 19:14, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be pleasing in your sight. Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. I love that verse. So what we speak matters to God. It matters where you're heading. So start by speaking life and using oils to do some reprogramming, and then your feet will start to follow. So a little DIY from the class, and this is a fun but a tough class. It calls for chocolate, right? So how about a recipe for avocado chocolate mousse? It is guilt-free, and you're getting the benefits of avocado, a superfood, without even realizing it, as well as the antioxidants in the chocolate and some peppermint for your digestive system. So ingredients: 2 ripe avocados. If you cannot taste you can't taste the avocado, and it's really good. 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 1/4 cup of Dutch cocoa powder. Mixing the cocos will give you better flavor. 3 tablespoons of milk, but if you're lactose intolerant, you can use almond or coconut milk. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Vanilla oil will not work. 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 cup of raw honey, 1 drop of peppermint vitality oil, but omit if you're a chocolate purist. So if you want to up your game, sprinkle some stevia chocolate chips on top, or if you can handle sugar, I do like Enjoy Life soy-free chocolate chips. I also like to cut the top out of the strawberries, fill it with the mousse, and put it in the fridge in an egg carton to keep it upright for 30 minutes. It is so good. So combine all the ingredients in a blender in order until it's smooth, and then stuff it in strawberries. And it's so good. So good. So here's a couple affirmations for the class for this section, and I'll type that out for you guys so you got the avocado chocolate mousse recipe, all right? For this section, I focused on discouragement because everybody's got hard days. I don't know if you guys have had a hard week or not. I have had a super hard week, super hard week, lots of physical challenges. And I am a blue personality, and I don't like focusing on physical challenges and health issues. So it forces me to slow down and prioritize and cut things off the list. And I get very frustrated and I get very discouraged that I can't do what I feel like God is calling me to do. So everybody's got hard days and got hard material and hard things they have to do. There are hard family issues, there are division, there's hard health issues, but we serve a great big God who never leaves us and never forsakes us. So may these quiet your mind when you are emotionally done. This is the stuff I want you guys to say out loud. I matter. My work matters. I grow stronger in my unique talents every day. I am not alone. I am a problem solver. I have a place. I am loved. I enable myself by having a positive attitude. Move, mountain, get out of my way. Transformation is coursing through me. I choose to reconnect with pleasure to reclaim joy. I am determined to succeed. I am unstoppable. I will stand atop 100 no's to get a yes. I commit. I don't quit. Today, I accomplish my goals. I am worthy of great things. I am a child of the living God. My name is associated with greatness and favor. I renounce all negative thoughts and all fear. My work is blessed. My house is blessed, and my family is blessed beyond measure. Beyond measure. All right, you guys just claim all that. So then there's a little journaling section where you just write down what oils you used and what results you saw and all of that. And then for those of you playing Oily Hangman, we're down to our last 3 letters. So you can fill them in. I'm sure you probably figured it out by now what it is, but don't give it away because I'll be releasing the Candida script when we finish the book. So your letter for this puzzle, for the secret page, is the letter R for this week. And then there's a little follow-up section that helps our brand partners. And that takes us all the way to the einkorn class and einkorn recipes that will blow your doors off. They are so much fun, and you are not going to want, to miss them. All right. Okay, let me pick one more winner. How about Carrie Pedrini Pearson? Girl, I'm going to send you a script book, Euler edition. So you just email my team, oilabilitywithsarah@gmail.com, and we'll get those out. I think we have 5 winners tonight. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a weekend of rest and rejuvenation that fills your heart and fills your soul. Get ready for the einkorn class. We'll do the full class on Tuesday, and then we'll do the workbook on Thursday in the mini. And then we're up for our very last script book class, which will be the Gary Young class. We're going to end the script book training on that. And then I'm going to go back to business training, but we'll just do a little protocol each week until we get through the 7 protocols at the back of the book. All right. It's kind of how we're going to roll through Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'm so thankful for you guys. You're such a blessing to me. And I pray that your weekend is incredible. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. All right. Bye.